Hello everyone, it's Paul here. Time for another video. Hope you're all doing well. So what do I have to chat to you about today? Well, I guess I should start with the book that I've just finished this week, which was Rumpel's Return by John Mortimer. This is the first time that I've read anything in the Rumpel series or anything by John Mortimer, and I would say that I thoroughly enjoyed this. I spoke about this book briefly last week, but I finished it now and I can say that I liked it a lot. It was smart, there was a lot of humour in it. It's based on the character of Horace Rumpel, who was a lawyer, barrister in the UK, who was absolutely brilliant at solving cases and was a huge character and a bit of a comedian. And there's a lot of wit in this book, which I like. There was a TV series in the 80s in the UK based on Rumpel, still findable on YouTube, so if you're not aware of that, I would encourage you to check it out, because it's quite something. It's funny and it's of its time, but very well done. You know, I guess I have a bit of nostalgia for that TV series. The only thing that annoyed me with this book was that close to the beginning it describes the murder, not in full, you know, so that there's that mystery of, you know, that there's a murder that's happened but you don't know the details, so it hooks you in straight away, and then the book goes off in a couple of other directions and then comes back to the main murder that was described at the beginning, and it seems to just you know, I wanted the book to go into a lot more detail on the initial murder, and it was resolved at the end, but I just spent almost the entire book wanting more detail on that, and so that was a slight frustration. But I mean, nevertheless, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to read more Rumpel books. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So that was Rumpel's Return by John Mortimer. The next book that I want to discuss, this is a book that has been sitting in on the table here for quite a while, and I haven't gotten round to reading it until now. And the book is The Soul of a Butterfly, written by Muhammad Ali, with his daughter Hannah Yasmin Ali. And I am a boxing fan, and apart from the obvious stuff that everyone knows, I don't know that much about Muhammad Ali really, that isn't common knowledge. It took me a while. This was a book that was going to be thrown out in the library, that I managed to get my hands on, and the reason that I hesitated was because scanning through the pages, and I'll give you just a quick glimpse of what I'm talking about. You know, the different fonts, the spaced out nature of the text, the snippets of quotes, I just had the feeling it was going to be a bit thin and a little bit superficial perhaps. But now that I've eventually gotten round to reading it, I'm absolutely loving this. Now it's written in I'm about I don't know, almost halfway through, and it's written in a very simple way. It uses simple language, it presents ideas very simply also, but at the same time, I feel like it packs a punch, literally. It delivers a message clearly and effectively, and of course it touches on his boxing career, but it's more to do with what happened to him once he'd finished boxing, and his reflections on life, his reflections on his religion and what it meant to him at various points in his life, his spiritual journey, his religious journey, both to do with his boxing career and to do with him being a conscientious objector to the war in Vietnam and the consequences that he faced from that. The difficulties that he faced being a black man in the southern states of America during the 50s, 60s, which obviously wasn't easy. And so I'm learning a lot from this, and so far so good. I would thoroughly recommend it. Hopefully I'll be finished it by next week and I'll be able to say more at that point, but yeah, I'm loving this. Very good so far. And it put me in mind of another book that I read some time ago, again on the boxing theme, and it's the autobiography of Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight world champion of the world, and the difficulties that he faced, both from a racial point of view and his struggles in the ring and unfair treatment. And he's a very, very interesting character indeed. He is a really well-educated man and had many different facets to his life, and I highly recommend this. It's a fascinating account of his life, and so especially if anyone out there is interested in boxing and the history of boxing and the early struggles, it really is a brilliant read. And so that's Jack Johnson. I've also, something that as a reader, something that I haven't really done up until now. I mean, I did have a bit of a false start with this a few years ago, but I've never really kept a commonplace book where you know, you find a line in a book or a quote that just resonates with you, and you record that quote in or a line in a logbook. And I've decided to start doing that because I feel, you know, I know several people that do have commonplace books, and I really feel like I'm missing out by not having one, so I'm going to start one. And I thought what I might do with this channel, what I might throw into the videos as and when it's appropriate, is that I would share the quotes, phrases, lines from books that I'm going to put into the commonplace log. And so I just have one line that I would like to share with you, and it comes from the Soul of a Butterfly, the Muhammad Ali book, and it's as he's talking about his religion. Now I'm not a religious person, I'm basically agnostic, if anything, but this line from Muhammad Ali really, somehow it resonated with me, so I'm just going to read it out for you just now. And he says, "I learned in Islam that God and his prophets cannot be brought down to the level of human imagination." Now that just really struck me, you know, the amount that's out there that is beyond the scope or what can be coped with by the powers of our own imagination. Whether you're thinking about religion, whether you're thinking about what a god is or might be, whether you're thinking about, away from religion, what's beyond the universe, what's beyond the scope of our knowledge. For me, it's one of those lines that just stops in your tracks and makes you think about what it is that's out there, and especially, I suppose, for someone like me who is agnostic, who's maybe not 100% without any sort of faith, but has this inkling that there's something more, that there's some sort of higher source, and to think about that there's so much out there that cannot be, as the line says, brought down to the level of mere human imagination. It's incredibly thought-provoking. So yeah, that was the line from that book so far that really struck me. And so finally, I guess, for those of you who like this sort of section of the videos, I'm going to do a random book from the past with my trusty reading log of everything I've read and my equally trusty random number generator. So let's see what today's number is going to be. And the number is 153. So how much will I remember about book 153? What memories will it spark? We'll soon find out. So 153. Okay, this is this book is The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Yeah, just I think a lot of people would if they haven't read the book, they'll be familiar with the title and maybe have a loose idea of the story. It was enjoyable. It was it reminds me of just a boy's adventure story, not exclusively to boys, but a kind of it reminds me of a book that I've just recently read, which was the Jules Verne Journey to the Centre of the Earth. It's got a very similar vibe to it, I mean, I don't have an awful lot to say on it, except that it was just an enjoyable adventure story, I think that Arthur Conan Doyle himself was a very interesting character. I can't think of Arthur Conan Doyle without thinking of the biography I read of Harry Houdini, and the story goes that Harry Houdini and Arthur Conan Doyle were bitter enemies. I believe that Conan Doyle's son was unfortunately lost fairly early in life, and from what I remember, at that point Arthur Conan Doyle became interested in mediumship, spirituality, and his then wife at the time were they held many mediumship sessions, and Houdini was one of the ones who were trying to show them up, trying to expose the trickery behind it as he saw it, and so they became bitter enemies because Houdini managed to expose the falsehood of what was going on in these mediumship sessions, and I believe threats were made, guns were pulled, and all that kind of thing. To find out the more specific details of that story, maybe you can check out Houdini's biography. But yeah, there was a lot of drama around that area at the time. So that's what thinking about the Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, that's what it makes me, that's what it brings to mind for me, and those stories of those people around that time. And you know, it must be very difficult for anyone that's lost someone close. You know, you'd want to somehow get that closeness to the person that's been lost, and you can understand someone going down the road of mediumship and spirituality to try and achieve that. But however, that's what's come to mind there. So anyway, I think I will leave it there for today. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for watching this video, especially if you've made it to the end. Well done. It shows you have a healthy amount of endurance. So I will leave it there for today and wish you all well, and I'll see you in the next video.